Hi, it's Future from Sewmate. Welcome to my channel. If you want to see how I make this colorful and beautiful tube dress, please stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do. And make sure to turn on your notification bell so that each time I upload new videos, you get notified. You will need your no dot bodice block to do this. I've got a tutorial on this channel on how you can make one. I'll leave a link in the description below and a link above as well. I will be using the front bodice to draft both the front and back dress patterns. So first trace around your block, making sure to mark all your notches. Lift your pattern, square in your underarm line and your waistline. Now lengthen your dress to your desired length. I'm measuring from the waistline going down 90 centimeters, put a mark. Continue with your center front line down like I'm doing here up to the 90 centimeter mark and square a line across. Now square another line down the hip line like I'm doing. Measure from the waistline 60 centimeters down and put a mark. So we went down 60 centimeters from the waistline. Square a line across that point, which is our 60 centimeter point. Now we're going to come in 2 centimeters at this line to form a pencil skirt silhouette. Put a mark. Now join this mark to the hip line with a straight line like I'm doing, and square down from this point up to the hem line like I'm doing. Make sure this line is squared. So this whole part is not included in our pattern anymore. And adding my hem allowance 1 centimeter. So we're going to be having a slit at the center front. So we're going to go up at the 60 centimeter line along the center front line, 10 centimeters, and put a mark. Square a little line across. Now measure 1 centimeter in and draw a straight line down. Just make a nice curve here. So this whole part will not be included again in our pattern for the front piece only. Okay, remember that. Now to complete our front pattern, we're going to go up at the underarm line by 2.5 centimeters, square a line. Coming to the underarm point, we're going to lower it down by 2 centimeters. Put a mark. Now with your curved ruler, join this point to the squared line above. Measure your elastic width and add 3 to 5 millimeters to it. Then we're going to go on and add it on top of the line that we just drawn. Just go parallel to it, adding the amount that we just measured, okay? This will be for our facing for the front dress. For the back dress, first transfer the dropped underarm level to the center front or center back line, like I'm doing here, and square a little line. Then we're going to go down 1.5 centimeters from this line, square a little line across like I've done. Then with your curved ruler, join these 2 points like I'm doing here. Next, we're going to follow through this line parallel to it, drawing in our facing for the back with the same amount that we used for the front. So it was 5 centimeters for me, so just following this curve, I'm just gonna be putting in 5 centimeters all through. So this is for my back and that's for the back facing. Now make sure you've got another pattern paper beneath your pattern, so that you can have both the front and back, and cut around your pattern. Next, we're going to fold our hem allowance back like I'm doing, so we can get a nice shaping for the side seam there, and cut through this line. Cut around the rest of the pattern. Now I'm just cutting around my patterns. We'll shape the side seam facing pieces later. I'm just putting my washers there so that I can hold my pattern pieces together. Now first, for the top pattern, I'm just going to transfer this top section here of the facing and the slit section to the bottom paper with a tracing wheel, like I'm doing here. And transferring my notches to the bottom pattern paper as well. Separate the patterns. Now I'm just highlighting all my lines here for the facing piece. So this is going to be my front pattern. And cutting out the section for the slit. Now labeling my pattern, front dress. Cut one on fold, and I put my initial. So center front is going to be on fold. And adding my grain line parallel to the center front. Adding notches to my pattern. And moving on to the back dress. Bring back our pattern. And we're going to cut through this line here for our facing piece. Adding notches to the pattern. Remember, we're not going to cut the slit for this pattern piece because this is our back, so we're going to cut it on fold all the way through to the bottom. We'll only have a slit at the front. So center back is going to be on fold, and adding my grain line parallel to the center back. Now shaping the side seams for our facing pieces. Just continue a straight line up for both the front and back like I'm doing here. You don't need to measure anything really. Cut around your patterns. Now all our patterns are finished. Now we're moving on to sewing. Now on to making our tube dress. What you need are your completed patterns, your fabric, your elastic, and your cutting tools. For the fabric, I'm using this beautiful printed scuba knit fabric, and the elastic, you need to get an elastic that's your exact chest measurement, okay? And now we're going to move on to cutting our fabrics. So our pattern pieces are cut and ready to sew. So the first thing we're going to do is to lay the front and back pieces right side facing, and then we're going to align the side seams. Now take this to the stage and sew along the side seams for both sides. If you are using a sewing machine, make sure to use a zigzag stitch. Let's go and do that for both sides. Okay, so that's done. So the next thing we're going to do is to hem our dress. So just go right round and overlock right round. When we finish that, we're going to go ahead and just fold both ends from the slit side, and we're going to give it a top stitching of 1 centimeter all the way around, including the slit area. Okay, then we're going to take our elastic and we're going to overlap the ends by 1 centimeter, and we're just going to join it with a zigzag stitch. Let's go and do that. Okay, now so that's done, and this is how our slit looks like now in a finished state. So I just overlocked right round and then just fold it back and just hem the whole dress. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and divide this upper part into 4 parts. Okay, so starting with the side seams, just put a pin on each side seam. Then we're going to go ahead and align the pins together and put the other 2 pins. Then we're going to go ahead and grab our elastic. So we joined it at the open ends here, and we're also going to go ahead and divide it into quarters as well. And align the pins together and pin the other halves. Now go ahead, grab your top part of your dress and just put it through the elastic like this. Now go ahead and align the pins on the elastic with the pins on the dress. Now we're gonna take this to the overlocker and sew right around the top edge here, making sure to stretch our elastic so that it fits the top edge of our dress here. Okay, let's go and do that right round. Okay, now so that's done, and the next thing I'm gonna do is just to fold back the elastic into the dress like this and just pin along the side seams. Now we'll take this to the sewing machine and we're just going to go ahead and sew along the side seams here. Okay, sew along the side seams so that the elastic will sit there properly in the dress. If you want, you can give it a top stitching again right round at the edge here, but I'm not gonna do that because I don't want any stitching to come out. Okay, so let's go and do that. And my tube dress is finished now. Thank you.